Welcome to Ask an Editor, the podcast that helps video editors build a long-term career. I'm Jesse Kipke, a documentary and commercial editor for the last 15 years, and today we have a question from David. David asks, how do I cope with a client or producer who brings consistently bad notes? They always turn out badly and burn a lot of time to achieve against deadlines. First off, let's look at David's definition of a bad note. It's something that turns out badly and burns a lot of time. So it's probably an idea for an edit that doesn't work, and so we end up wasting a lot of time when trying to meet a deadline. It's important to acknowledge the emotional side of bad notes here. It's a critique of your work, and how the note is delivered can affect a lot about how you feel about it. If a note is given bluntly, or worse, it's got a bit of a jibe, like, who the heck picked this stupid B-roll shot? This can cause all sorts of defenses to go up. And even if the note is delivered kindly and we know it's true, we can still feel defensive about it because it's still our hard creative work. There's also the practical side, which is the crux of David's question. A bad note can take you on a wild goose chase that just leads to a dead end. And when you're up against a tough deadline, this time can feel wasted and leave everyone feeling stressed. So what can you do? First, I would ask questions to find the root of what the note is trying to solve. Often clients or producers will notice a legitimate problem and then they'll prescribe a solution. That solution may or may not be the right one, but they could still be picking up on something that does need to be addressed. So you could try asking questions like, what emotion does this part currently make you feel, and what would you like to feel instead? Or is there information that feels like it's not being explained well? Or something like, does the shot choice feel off? What would you like the shots to show instead? Or what would the shots make you feel? That sort of thing. Digging past the note to find the root of that problem will help you think of what could be the right solution. Once you understand the problem, then you can try turning the note into a good one. So you could say something like, that's an interesting idea. What if we tweaked it and did this? This kind of response acknowledges the problem that they're feeling and their idea, which helps them feel heard, while also adding your expertise in the implementation. This has an added bonus of presenting yourself as a problem solver. And hopefully over time, they'll start to point out the problem and then ask your opinion on how to solve it. If they still want to go forward with the bad note, try to find out that it's bad as fast as possible. The software development world calls this rapid prototyping, where you build something really quickly to see if it's even a viable option. So you could say something like, give me 30 minutes to put together a rough version and we'll see how it plays. Either the producer will see that the idea isn't going to work and you won't waste a lot of time on it, or you might find that the note is actually helpful. Sometimes I've felt like there's no way this note is going to work, and then you do it and you're like, okay, fine. That actually wasn't a bad idea. In David's case, though, he's seen that the notes are consistently bad and that they're wasting vital time as they try and rush to meet a deadline. So what can you do in that situation? If you find that happening over and over, it may be best to say something. This confrontation can be scary because it can feel like your job is at stake. But as psychologist Henry Cloud says, confrontation actually brings people together. You saying something is actually fighting for the project and the relationship, and that's a good thing. If there is someone your producer answers to, or maybe there's an HR department, it can be helpful to tell them the issue. They are there to help and can suggest next steps, or maybe talk to the producer on your behalf. If the producer doesn't answer to someone, or say you're working for a client, you'll need to speak directly with them. So I know that can be intimidating, but rather than you just slowly simmering and coming to a boil where it's all going to, come crashing out, you want to clearly state the difficulty and then ask if they could change one thing. If this is going on, can you please do this? That would help the process. Be careful not to aim blame or add that personal jab, because just like you or me when we receive a note, things like that will cause their defenses to go up too. Hopefully they will receive your note and be able to adjust. If they don't, you can either try the first few steps again, or if your stress level just keeps growing, you may need to think about changing your work situation. But hopefully by doing these steps, it won't come to that. So David, thank you so much for your question. If this episode helped you in some way, consider sharing it with another editor. If you have a question that needs answering, you can submit it at askaneditorpodcast.com, and hopefully we can answer it on the show. So thanks for listening and keep cutting.